Find one that works for you and stick with it and stick to it. Why are you hoarding them in 2023? Just get rid. And I finally sat down on the 1st of January and I was like, I'm gonna hit that button. There's no need to put off anymore. See this as your new fresh start. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the new year. It's 2023, which kind of blows my mind, and by the time this video goes out onto my channel we're probably going to be well into January. So I hope you are all feeling ready and prepared, or perhaps not, which is why you clicked on this video, because as you can see from the title, though I haven't actually decided on the title yet, I'll get to that, this is going to be a video about how to be better prepared for the new year, or best prepared for the new year, how to get into your most organized version of yourself, how to come in with a positive mindset and really kick off the new year right. I am not a guru in this, but I would self-describe as a very organised person, and I feel like over the years I've definitely perfected my method of what works for me, of feeling my most organised self, my best self, and really being able to hit the ground running in the new year. And I thought I would share those tips with you guys. Obviously some of them work really well for me, might not work for you, but I figured I would just share what I do because they might be helpful for someone out there. This list is obviously not exhaustive and it will just hit on a couple of different topics that I've tried to break out as easily as possible for you guys to follow into things like mental, physical, financial, social. And with that said, let's get started. So my first tip for getting organised in the new year is to get a literal organiser, and this can come in any shape, size or form. It's about what works best for you. Over the years I've come to find different ones that work for me, different methods, different physical things, different digital things, whether that's a physical diary, a bullet journal, a notepad, a calendar on your phone, a calendar on your laptop, whatever it is. Find one that works for you and stick with it and stick to it. This can change as well. In previous years I've liked a physical handwritten diary. In later years I definitely prefer a digital calendar because that's what I use for work. And again, it doesn't have to be one specific thing, but make sure you have one type of organizer for each thing. Let me rephrase that in a way that actually makes sense. I wouldn't be keeping a physical diary and a digital calendar and a bullet journal all for my personal life, for example, but I might keep a digital calendar in Teams or Outlook for my work and my professional life, and keep a calendar on my phone to arrange social plans, but also have a bullet journal for my well-being and to journal and document my thoughts and feelings. Obviously that's 3 different types of organisers, but they all have very distinct purposes for me in my head. 3 might be too many for you, so again, you've just got to work out what works for you. Those 3 are the ones that work for me, but again, don't be kind of documenting all of your thoughts and your plans on random bits of scrap paper, doing some of them in your phone calendar, some in your work calendar, some on a piece of paper, some on a to-do list. Like, make sure you pick one that works for the specific thing you're trying to organise and stick to it. 2 is to declutter or sort out the things that you've been putting off doing for a long time. This is a really great way of starting the new year afresh by making sure all of your loose ends, potentially from the year before, are all tied up coming into the new year, because you don't want to feel like you've got all of your chores and headaches from the previous year spilling over into this new year when you want to start and feel fresh and like you've had this fresh start. Like going to see a doctor for something you've been putting off, or changing your bed sheets, or getting the clock battery or your watch battery fixed that's been broken for months and months and months and you keep saying you'll get round to it and you don't, or decluttering your wardrobe and throwing out all of those clothes that just don't fit you anymore, because why are you hoarding them in 2023? Just get rid. It will feel like a mental declutter because you've physically decluttered, so all of these things that you had to do are now not playing on your mind anymore as well. Another good example of this decluttering is on your phone or on your technology, or a digital declutter as well. That might involve deleting all of those dead apps that you just don't use anymore and are taking up your phone space, or clearing out all of the pictures in your camera roll that you don't need anymore, or you might have stored away somewhere, or creating new files and folders on your laptops and making sure all of your files are sorted as well. These are all really good ways of decluttering physically, digitally, in a way that will also help you declutter mentally and, you know, get rid of all that stress coming into the new year. Number 3 kind of links to that last point, but it is slightly different, and that is book things you've been meaning to book and cancel subscriptions you've been meaning to cancel. This could be booking or renewing your gym membership, booking a new Netflix or Spotify membership, or if you've got Netflix now, you don't need your Amazon Prime anymore, get rid of it. Just making sure all of those subscriptions and bookings are in order for the new year. Unsubscribing from those spam emails you keep receiving that you just keep putting in the bin but not actually solving the root of the problem, and clicking onto that website and saying, no, I do not want your marketing emails anymore. This could also include paying off any bills or debts, or the money you owe a friend, or booking train tickets you've been meaning to book, or that holiday you've been saying you'll book with friends, finally sitting down and actually doing it, making sure everything that you've said you're going to do or book or cancel is done for the new year. Obviously this is kind of like a rolling basis as well. Things will come to an end and new subscriptions will need to be renewed as you go throughout the year, but making sure you have all of the ones you can sort now is a really good way to start the year. And I have been true to my word on this one. I've been meaning to book a gym membership for a very long time, and I've been putting off and finding reasons not to do it. And I finally sat down on the 1st of January and I was like, I'm going to hit that button. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to book my gym membership. And this will be a way of forcing myself to commit to my fitness commitments, my gym commitments, my New Year's resolutions, because once you've booked that thing you've said you're going to book, that is incentive for you to go out and do it, because you don't want to waste your money and your time. If you signed up from the get-go, from the start of the year, if you come in strong, then that's going to hold you accountable from the first month of the new year, rather than, you know, saying, oh, I'll get around to it in February or March. Then chances are you're probably not going to do it. So do it now, because there's no need to put off anymore. See this as your new fresh start. Obviously you can make changes at any point in your life, but New Year is a really good time to do it, because it does feel like that physical, mental, just whole reset for your whole life, or at least that's how I see the new year. But again, yes, you can make change whenever you want, but New Year is definitely a good time to do it, because we're all feeling that buzz of, it's a new time, it's a new start, like, let's get things done. Tip number 4 is one that I stick to every single year, or at least try to, and that is to make a priorities list or make a resolutions list. Some of you guys might have seen my New Year's resolutions video. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out, because I do make one every year, and I do feel that it helps me stay accountable and know what my priorities are for the year ahead, rather than kind of muddling along and not really knowing what I'm doing. And I would say to try and keep this as, I don't know, succinct and neat as possible. By that I mean, don't have a list of 20 things you're going to commit to this year, because chances are you won't get them done, you'll forget what they are because the list is too long, and instead of like focusing on a specific thing you want to change, you'll be overwhelmed by so many different things you want to do that you just don't do any of them, or you try and hit all of them but never really complete any of them to their fullest potential. So I would recommend having a list of no more than about 5 things that you definitely want to commit to. Now, the way I'd recommend tackling this one is to have quite broad headings, and then from there you can work out the specifics you need to do to achieve those broad headings. So some examples might include fitness, or career, or love life, or hobbies. And once you've worked out what your 3, 4, 5 broad headings are, you can then chunk it down into measurable, achievable, doable steps. And just as I recommended with the broader headings, keeping it succinct and to the point, you want to do the same thing for these smaller, achievable steps. So I wouldn't have an extremely long list of all the different sporting activities you want to do to achieve your goal of improving your fitness, but you might have 1 or 2 smaller goals, like I'll join a gym and go twice a week, and I'll run 5k every Saturday. Those are 2 quite achievable, measurable and realistic goals, and time measured goals, but you're not having a super long list that says I'm going to try swimming and football and gymnastics and dance in the gym, because if you start compiling a really long list, chances are, again, you're not actually going to hit any of these, or you'll try and do all of them but half-heartedly. Whereas I think it's a lot more realistic, at least for myself, to have 1 or 2 really measurable goals to achieve my broader heading, my broader goal, that I can really focus in on. So last year I said I want to improve my fitness. I want to do that by getting into running, How am I going to do that? I'm going to try and run 5k 2 or 3 times a week. Now that goal evolved over the year, and it turned into, instead of running 2, 3, 5k's a week, I started running 1 or 2 10k's a week, because I adapted my goal based on my achievements and my progression throughout the year. You can change your goals as you go, but it's good to at least have something to focus on from the get-go, so you're not kind of floundering throughout the whole year, juggling lots of different tasks you've set yourself that aren't really achievable or realistic. Likewise, if one of your broader headings is hobbies, you might want to be a bit more specific about what you mean by that. So I want to find a new hobby in 2023, and instead of saying I'm going to try art and fitness and coding and learning a language, pick one that you really want to do. Like, I really want to get better at my German, so to do that I'm going to start attending a 1-hour weekly language class at the centre down my road, and I know I'll do that because it's near enough by to where I live that I will definitely go. I might do it with a friend, so we're both accountable and we'll encourage one another to go. Just be quite realistic. Once you've worked out what the broader heading is, you can then work out what your step is to achieve it. Again, that's not to say you can't change these goals as you go, but it just helps you getting in the right headspace for the new year, knowing that there is something you can literally start doing now. Because I definitely find that if I don't have measurable and realistic steps, then I will keep thinking and dreaming about all the things I want to do and not actually doing any of the doing. Having these measurable steps means you can't procrastinate, because it's very simple, you know what you need to do, it's very focused and driven, and you can just start doing it from the get-go. Tip number 5 is to get organised financially, and what I mean by this is, I personally like to keep a spreadsheet. You might do it differently, you might like your online banking app or a notebook, but find a way of tracking your finances. It's really good to know upfront at the start of the year what your monthly income is, what your monthly outgoings are, and you can really start to budget for the year ahead. I'm not here to give financial advice, I am not the best person for that, but just personally, I like to have a spreadsheet of what is my rent, what is my water, my gas, my electricity, my council tax, what is my Wi-Fi bill, how much am I going to allocate for fun or leisure, how much is my gym membership, how much is my Netflix subscription, and then I can really see in this spreadsheet how much is going to come out of my bank account each month in a really fixed way, and then what is left after that, what am I going to do with the money that's left over. I'm going to put some into savings, and some is going to be my safety pot in case there are any extra bills that I didn't expect to come up, or I can allocate a little bit more to social and fun because I know I've got a little bit more than I expected at the end of each month. By having this spreadsheet, you can really foresee what your finances are going to be doing and make sure you've budgeted everything correctly. I can start thinking, how much am I going to spend on my groceries now? Will I have a sort of weekly limit for what I can spend? So I can have a better picture of what I'm saving, what's going out, and how much money I actually have to play with once the money's gone out that needs to go out on things that will always be coming out, like your bills and your rent. Again, different people have different ways of doing it, and you'll find a way that works for you, but just broadly knowing that you're going to have some sort of oversight of your finances is a really good way to start the year. And tip number 6 is a little bit more fun, a little bit less serious. A lot of these tips have been about physical, like timekeeping, diary keeping, finance monitoring. This one is to give yourself some fun things to look forward to for the year ahead. It always sets me off on a really good foot, knowing I've got a couple of exciting things to look forward to in the diary. These can be as big or as small as you want, but personally I find keeping it broad in general helps. Like, I know I've got a family holiday coming up this year. That's really exciting and something to look forward to. Or you might have a concert that you're going to see that you're really looking forward to seeing. Or right now I'm about to head back to London to go back to my life there, my job there. I'm still at home for Christmas at the moment. I'm a bit stranded because of the train strikes, but by the time I get back to London, I might want to start planning when's the next time I'm going to go back up home to visit my family, just so it's something to look forward to. Again, I wouldn't recommend over cluttering your diary with things to do, like I'm going to see this friend on this day and this friend on this evening and this friend after work and I'm going to ring my mum then, and by that point you're kind of stressing yourself out and overly planning. And I think keeping it broad works for me, but again, work out what works for you. But having a couple of generic wide plans to look forward to for the year ahead, that can be something like a holiday or a trip or a job application, or knowing where you're going to go in your career, or knowing what you're going to do in your dating life or something. Just having a sort of focus for the year ahead I think is really, really helpful, and something that you know is fun and is coming up and will put you in good spirits for the year ahead. Now, for someone who said that this video was about keeping organized and prepared for the year ahead, I found it weirdly difficult to film. I feel like my head has been all over the place. I did actually plan the video on my phone. As I said, I'm quite a planny person. I hope that was coherent enough because it was a little bit of a stream of consciousness ramble whilst following the notes I'd made, but I hope you found something in this video useful at least. Let me know if you'll be following any of these tips and recommendations, or if you've got any of your own tips and recommendations. Let me know in the comments below. How do you get organized for the year ahead? Hopefully we can all hit the ground running for 2023, and you know, I've got a really good feeling that this is going to be our year, guys. Like 2023, I've got a good feeling about it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great 2023. Bye.